Favorite one.
Hello folks, and welcome to Star Ladder. This is Star Ladder Season 13. We are doing some Chinese Dota for you all. Once again, I am Llama Down Under. I will be joined by Noble Wings, and we'll be bringing you right into some Team BraveHeart versus Team XDK. And with that, let's get you all right into the game, where we're going to quickly discover that I believe I haven't left my mic open, so Noble Wings hasn't heard me this whole time. How are you doing, Noble Wings?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Excellent. I just had some delicious ramen. I set my microphone finally there to be open, and so now you can hear me instead of missing our intro. But with that, let's get right into it. This is Team BraveHeart versus Team DK, but I believe there's actually XDK. DK dropped their Dota team, so they're still tagged up as DK though for now. And we've got some... I think the only thing surprising me here about the picks and bans so far is the first round ban on the Undying.
I've seen teams favor him a lot more, and one thing that's to mention is that XDK have not played any games on the patch, so it'll be interesting to see what they pick.
Yeah, it's I'm sure they've played together as a group, but they don't have terribly many official matches, as you pointed out, on this patch, and so I'm really interested to see what exactly is their favored lineup for today. But either way, we've got a Wyvern Spirit Breaker and then a Tusk Shadow Fiend. I mean, while Wyvern and Spirit Breaker are both very strong heroes, we've seen Tusk do so much work all over the map. He's like a buffed up Earthshaker if he roams.
Yeah, and he has a 100% pick rate and ban rate, and he has it for a reason. He can do everything. He can support, he can offlane, he can even go mid sometimes. And he's just a really good initiator, and he can save heroes with Snowball. He's an all-around really strong hero.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see exactly where they're going to put him, because I know he's been popular on offlane. He's been popular as the support, a lot of different options, but it looks like Team BraveHeart, maybe they're also not sure exactly where he's going to go, because they ban out the Night Stalker. And while he's certainly a strong roamer and everything, maybe not the ban I was expecting right now.
Well, I think Night Stalker as a 4 position is really strong, as it can secure your mid lane. Once you hit 4 minutes, you can just run at the mid lane, use your Void, use your Silence, and a lot of the times you can secure a kill. So I think they want to pick up maybe a greedy mid lane like Ember Spirit, or maybe even Wind Major. I would gravitate more towards Ember Spirit, as Night Stalker really destroys Ember Spirit mid, and maybe try to put him mid and get some farm there.
Yeah, so as you point out, now Ember Spirit's kind of one of those funny heroes. We see there are teams all over the scene who ignore him, or just, like, it feels like there are some teams which love to play him, right? And you have to ban him against them. And there are teams that just kind of ignore that Ember Spirit exists. Looking over these two teams, I hadn't seen anything particularly compelling stand out about either when it came to Ember Spirit, so I'm not sure if they're just going to ignore it.
Well, DK has not picked Ember Spirit at all in 6.85 for XDK. They banned it 3 times, and Team BraveHeart actually has picked Ember Spirit twice this patch already, and that's only out of like 5 games. So I think it's definitely a hero that they could want to pick up here, and they definitely do play it.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it does end up getting banned out, as we talked about, so just deciding that DK saying maybe that's why they banned the Night Stalker. Also the Earthshaker, right? These are all massive lockdown heroes. At the same time, Team BraveHeart can just be setting themselves up for something like the Anti-Mage.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and with Winter Wyvern already to protect the Anti-Mage, and it's a decent pick. You have to be kind of wary of if they get someone to duel in with Tusk, and maybe they can kind of shut down Anti-Mage, but overall Anti-Mage is a lot of the time considered a bad laner, but once he gets Ring of Health, you can sit in lane pretty safely as an Anti-Mage.
Yeah, his life certainly isn't as hard as, I feel like he's very difficult to shut down. They definitely changed him a little bit to make him less picked, less banned, but he is still a powerhouse, and I would say that Spectre gained some popularity due to her buffs, and maybe her changes to dispersion strong enough that she might actually be something we see here. But DK, I've gone with the Bane. I love this hero. I don't know how you feel about it, but I just feel like Bane got the slight buff to the brain sap, so it's a bit more viable in the laning phase to pop it all the time, and just all around great hero. You can lock down 2 people, right? One with the Nightmare, one with the Fiend's Grip, and then of course you can always just be a pain. People don't do this as much anymore, it seems, but you can always just go enfeeble the opposing mid or whoever's in your lane and stop their farming.
Yeah, and Bane has been picked up a lot lately. You see some support players going for stats instead of enfeeble, because the skill really needs to be maxed out early to be of any use. But I feel it can definitely be really good for mid lane, as you can go up to mid, enfeeble whoever's in the mid lane, and secure your Shadow Fiend a lot of farm that way, as he can rack up souls really easily.
Yeah, and you can do the same thing to whichever lane the Juggernaut's in, so lots of options here for the side of DK, and it's not quite the Hell lane that we see, but Tusk often run with someone like the Undying or the Slaughter to create a lane where your opponent's carry can't farm. I wonder whether Bane could maybe join in on that, and it might. They're either running a tri-lane here, or they are going to run maybe a Bane Tusk. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. And one thing to note too is that enfeeble, if he decides to level it and not go for stats, it can't be purged. So even if Juggernaut uses his Q, you still can't get rid of that buff.
Yeah, and even if you had to use your Q for it, it's like so costly, right? The cooldown on that thing early game, and the mana cost, not fun. But DK, they've got the Dazzle, they've got the keep your allies alive strat, as we like to say in ranked. So also a bit of a minus armor strat. I wouldn't say full minus armor, but they've certainly got Presence of the Dark Lord, and if they get the weave on the opposing heroes, they're going to melt.
Oh, absolutely, and they are on Radiant, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that they were given Shadow Fiend. Normally you see Shadow Fiend banned out by the Dire team, as he's a very strong hero on Radiant.
I guess Team Braveheart just deciding that the Undying was too powerful to let go. Different teams always have different priorities, and same with the Night Stalker. Night Stalker's definitely someone we've seen maybe fall off in popularity as this patch progresses, and I believe this patch is ending after the Mages they've announced. I think they said they'd drop a new patch.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so we'll see all of that change up, but for now, looking like they just decided these heroes too strong and they need to give away the Shadow Fiend, at least for them. I feel like obviously Radiant Shadow Fiend's stronger from a stacking perspective, but when you add in a Dazzle and so on, it could have been a very early Roshan, especially depending on itemization. So at least Team Braveheart will have more control over the Rosh.
Yeah, and like I said, with both these teams, especially XDK, there's very little information going around. I mean, looking at DK's 6.85 patch, they never picked Undying once, but they did pick a lot of Night Stalker. They picked like 4 games of Night Stalker out of maybe 10 matches. So.
Probably just a very specific pick or ban there. And we've got the Bounty Hunter ban out now. I feel like Bounty Hunter gets nerfed. A lot of teams unsure whether he's even strong enough for a first round ban or pick. And he's slowly been creeping back in there.
Yeah, I think teams underestimate just how much Bounty Hunter can do for your team, putting pressure on their opposing mid, putting pressure on their opposing supports. And he does a lot in general that isn't really seen throughout the game.
Yeah. So, and another one that we don't see as often in favor of some other carries, the Gyrocopter. Oh, not Gyro, sorry. Wrong hero. We do see him a lot. He's still in the pool. The Phantom Lancer. Sorry. I was thinking of my nerfed carries from last patch.
Yeah, Team Braveheart don't really have any good source of AoE. They have Power Shot, they have Winter Wyvern Splinter Blast, but besides that, Juggernaut doesn't have any AoE, and especially for Juggernaut, when you use your ultimate, you don't really want to be bouncing to illusions all over the place.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Also, maybe they feel like they have a bit of a lack of lockdown. Certainly something you still need it a lot, and it can be rough even with the increase of that cost point on Doppelganger. So now DK. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, I really like this select pickup right here. As you said before, Team Braveheart doesn't have the best lockdown. All their lockdown is really inconsistent. They have Winter Wyvern ult, which is like 110-second cooldown. Then they have Spirit Breaker with charge and ult, and then Wind Ranger Shackle Shot. So it's pretty difficult to land all these stuns, and Slark's going to have a really easy time using Dark Pact before their stuns, as all their stuns are going to have some sort of travel time or cast point, meaning that Slark should always be able to get his Dark Pact off and purge the stun.
The only unpurgeable one is Winter's Curse, right? But that's a relatively short lockdown.
Yeah, it's
3.5 seconds at max level. Yeah, it's 2.5 at first, and then at max only 3.5. But they go with the Phoenix. I think the last time I saw a Phoenix was the support Phoenix that I want to say maybe Team Secret ran it?
I'm not sure. It might have been.
Yeah, I just feel like Phoenix It, isn't a terribly picked up hero these days, and I am really excited to see what they're going to be doing with it and how they're going to make this work. Obviously, not a bad hero, but it feels like Phoenix needs levels, and it can be hard these days to get it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to put Spirit Breaker Phoenix off lane or just put the Phoenix out there to do what he can do and try to put the Spirit Breaker roaming on mid and maybe get some kills in the off lane.
Yeah, so, and with that, we're in, and just so folks know, I'm terribly excited. This is the first game of Chinese Dota I have gotten to cast, and lag is apparently the name of the game. I also wanted to give everybody a heads up, as Noble Wings and I will be about to introduce the players. Sometimes, and I don't know if, I think we have a couple here, some of these, oh no, it looks like everybody's actually tagged up right. Some players actually don't have English names, so in the later sets today, I guess, we'll see that. We might have some Chinese characters for names, and it's straight up just a case that they don't have English names, apparently, that they use. Either way, we've got a small contest here. It looks like XXS on that Tusk was going to try to do something to Yimim on the Wyvern. But anyway, let's quickly introduce the teams. Introducing DK or XDK on Slark. We've got QD. We've got Boboka on that Bane. Chen is playing the Shadow Fiend. Wrong is playing Dazzle. And that'll be it. Tossing it over you for BraveHeart.
Okay, before I butcher these names, we got YM on the Winter Wyvern. We have Sher on Spirit Breaker. We have Lulu playing on the Juggernaut. We have 86 playing on the Wind Ranger going down the middle lane. And we have Dog 7 going on the Phoenix to the off lane.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy that these names are showing up. I did some research before the game, and 3 of these players in this matchup had just Chinese characters for names. So I'm really happy that we actually have something that I can read showing up. Because I actually translated one, and it was like, hot girl. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this translation is accurate or you're trolling. So,
maybe both.
Yeah, it could be. So either way, we're going to have the standard 1 rune apiece. I don't see anything particularly interesting when it comes to inventories. Yeah, and with that, we'll be headed into it. Maybe the only thing here that's kind of interesting, of course, is Phoenix having that Ring of Protection, just wanting to take less damage from auto attacks. I guess can eventually make that into a Bassi. This is the lane I'm, I guess, the most interested in. I haven't seen a competitive Phoenix in the off lane in a long time. It feels like you should have a good way to get away from heroes like Slark, but of course Icarus Dive has like a 35-second cooldown? Yeah, 36.
Does Icarus Dive go through Pounce? I'm not actually sure.
I think you can stop the Icarus Dive, right? With Pounce?
Oh. Yeah, I believe you can. I know Blinks, you can blink out of Pounce, but I think if you dive, it won't work.
Yeah.
Just like if you leap out of Pounce, it doesn't work. So Phoenix might actually have an issue in this lane if he gets pounced.
Yeah. Now, at least it's just a tri-lane, and it's something where maybe if you just get pounced, you throw the Fire Spirits at your opponents and hope that you've slowed their attack speed enough. But of course, with 1 ranged, 1 melee, you might be in for a spot of trouble, and Dazzle may always just heal bomb you for funsies. So, either way.
Yeah.
And speaking of it, we're about to find out. No, it does look like you can in fact Icarus Dive out of Pounce. So
nice. That makes that lane a lot easier for Phoenix.
Yeah. But
and one thing to note, he did get a Ring of Protection level 1, and I think that's super needed on Phoenix, and the reason is that he starts with 0 armor, and since the way armor scales, it's really bad to have 0 armor or negative armor, because it does a lot.
There are a couple heroes that start with negative armor in this game, and it just seems horribly unfair. Either way, I thought this Bane was going to help out our Shadow Fiend in mid. He is getting rocked.
Well, yeah, they had a dual lane too. Winter Wyvern came in to help Wind Ranger, and Bane came in to help Shadow Fiend, so they were both kind of just sitting there for their mids, and Winter Wyvern at level 1 is just a little too strong with his Q to really fight.
Yep, definitely a skill that I believe might be receiving a bit of a nerf. The Arctic Bone way more damage, I feel, than other people can take. And if it were a Windrunner on the other end of that, at least she can maybe Windrun it off for the first one, but the Shadow Fiend has no recourse other than hoping that his supports stack for him.
Yeah, and I think mid's going to be really difficult for him, but luckily Bane is already going to stack.
Speaking of, up top, we have a charge, a snowball. It cancels the charge. The Arctic Bone is going, though. Then the spin comes out. There is no escape here. This will be our first blood, and with that, Tusk falls. Oh, and Wyvern manages. They get the return kill. So technically, Tusk... Obviously, it's not great for Tusk. Tusk didn't get the experience, but he just got a bit of a gold bounty there that he shouldn't have, it feels like.
Yeah, I believe no one took tower aggro, so Winter Wyvern took all the damage from the tower, and he doesn't really have a high armor stat. So maybe Spirit Breaker could have saved him there, but overall, it's still definitely worth it. You get the first blood, you get gold going on to Juggernaut, which is who you wanted it on, and Tusk still doesn't get much. He gets maybe 100 gold, it gets him his boots, but it's not a big deal in the whole scheme of things.
And it looks like Phoenix in a really... Actually, well done there. I didn't notice this. At first I thought Phoenix was in deep trouble, but he actually... Oh, we have a kill going down top lane. So, Tusk both fall, as I really want to examine. Phoenix dived a little bit off the map, so I thought they could just eat their way to Phoenix, but they need to cut down a bunch of trees down here. So, just because of the dive path.
Yeah, I think they might be able to find him, but it looks like he'll be getting out.
And even if they did find him, he wasted so much of their time. Slock actually missed about 2 CS looking for the Phoenix initially, so I think that's well worth it.
Now we see a charge going on mid. Oh, this is risky.
Oh, I think really, as you just said, really a mistake to cancel that charge. Yeah, either you connect with it or you cancel it much earlier.
Yeah, I think he canceled it a little too late and he took a lot of hits from the tower. If Shadow Fiend had maybe been a little further up, he could have got a kill, and that's the type of play that'll really set your Shadow Fiend for the game.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend very happy with what little he got there, so... Now, looking...
He is catching up. He's 18 for 8 now, so he's doing well.
Yeah, good job there, and he still has, I think, a couple stacks in the jungle for him. Looking at these two lineups, I feel like we've got somewhat equivalent late game. You know, Windrunner obviously a really good, strong late game carry, but so is Slock, and so is the Jug. I'm not quite sure who exactly is the better late game team, but I do feel like you could potentially say that DK come online a bit earlier just because Windrunner does need a lot of farm before she's doing a lot of damage.
I think DK have really good, depending on their itemization. If Shadow Fiend decides to go for mech and they decide to try to get Roshan really quickly, they get a nice timing on their Shadow Blade and on Slark. I think they'll really be a mid-game force to reckon with. But if they decide they just want to go late game, they still have a lot of really good skills to use for late game. Bane is always good. He has the piercing BKB, and you see going on bottom.
Yeah, we've got a charge coming out. Can they get the return kill onto Bane? They managed to pick up the Phoenix, and Wyvern doing good work. The immediate self-nightmare, but Bobo, they know exactly where you are. Charge gonna be more than enough. They're gonna work on auto-attacking Bane down. Buying a lot of time with the brain sap, but I think should still fall here. Can they get the auto-attacks? The tower will help them out. Spirit Breaker taking credit for that kill, and... that, I mean, not good. Their Phoenix died twice now. Phoenix is only level 3. This is what I was worried about. Offlane Phoenix, or Phoenix in general, you need levels because of the way your ulti doesn't scale. Let's put it that way. Being level 3, 6 minutes in, I don't think it's going to cut it.
No, I think he's doing alright. Tusk is just hitting level 4, so he's around a level behind, but that's kind of to be expected. Phoenix is not the best offlaner. Luckily, the creeps are near his tower right now, so he'll get a lot of experience here, and we might see him go pick up a Midas to try to catch up here.
Yeah, I almost feel like a Midas is completely... it's the only way to go on this hero. And Bane getting... oh, Omni Slash. Gonna try to cancel some of this damage, but the Nightmare not gonna be enough when you're being charged. Nice heal bomb onto Lulu. Do they have any more follow-up? The next TP taking way too long. And that's how TPs work, so not quite able to catch up with the Tusk, and also means that there's suddenly a lot less pressure on the Phoenix, and it's going to be getting some sweet, sweet levels, although it does take a bit of a pounce and has to Icarus dive away again. So, yeah, I do worry about the Phoenix. As you said, I feel like Midas, completely needed, because you need to catch up, you need some way of getting levels fast, just because you get only 3 extra hits on your ult per ult level.
Yeah, I agree too, and not just that, all his spells are really good with scaling. Fire Spirits scale all the way to level 4. Sunray scales really well, actually. And so it's going to be really good for him to get all his skills maxed.
Yeah, Sunray, of course, that spell which does percentage health-based damage, so it certainly helps out as the game progresses and progresses, and can always be nice against a Slok, who maybe you can't see, but want to still be able to do damage to. So that'll be that, but other than that, we've got, I mean, game's pretty even, actually, when we look over at experience and gold. Neither of these teams have pulled significantly ahead, and so I'm still not sure who's going to have the upper hand, because I really do think, oh, Wyvern going to throw out some Octic Bones, but with nothing from the Windrunner. Okay.
I think DK are going to get a little ahead here. Shadow Fiend has just farmed his first, I think, triple stack, and now he's going to go over and try to take the next stack they have right here in the medium camp. And he gets the DD too, so this will increase his farming speed.
He still
We
hasn't...
should see a slight gold lead in DK's favor.
Shadowfiend still hasn't shown us exactly what he's going for, and as you said, I'm really curious about this. I think a lot of their teamfight potential hinging on whether he goes for the early mech, or whether Tusk is going for that much later Guardian Greaves.
Yeah, absolutely, and if he wants, he is going for the mech. He's bought his Ring Regent, so that is what they're going to try to do.
So we've got QD taking a lot of damage on that slug, and now Dazzle's trying to 1v1 a Phoenix. They're using the salve. They're going in from behind as well. Can they get Phoenix? They do! Well played there. Often, not something we see often, but Dazzle having 1 point in that poison touch is getting them a kill. And yeah, it looks like Boboka taking a lot of damage. Shackled as well. Power shot, but 2 TPs coming in. Can Tusk get any sort of follow-up? He will have a snowball here. The Wyvern caught in, doesn't have Octic Bone, used it to initiate, and while he will go down, if he can get both of their teammates to get out, I think it's worth it. They got that kill on the... Was the kill on the Windrunner? No, it was on the Spirit Breaker? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Oh, no,
so maybe
no,
not worth it. Spirit Breaker got the kill.
Wyvern.
No, I mean, but Spirit Breaker got the kill from the... I feel like it's worth it if the Windrunner got the kill, because it helps her form. But since it wasn't, and speaking of since it wasn't, Bane together with Tusk kill off Juggernaut before having their ults, so... Or before having Bane's ult.
I think Juggernaut was getting really greedy for the tower. He wanted to get the last hit on it, and he took a little too many tower shots and just got sharded into the tower.
Yeah.
So, it's unfortunate for him.
And that's gonna help Shadowfiend get his way up on the net worth.
Yeah, looking at the net worth right now, you can see that Juggernaut is farming really well, which is surprising, as normally Shadowfiend is definitely the leader in these types of games, taking stacks, taking whatever farm he can, as he is one of the fastest farmers in the game.
Also, Juggernaut's going for the Battle Fury. This is a build that's become super popular. Speaking of popular, Bane, popular in this game, has already died 3 times. Not gonna go for that Shackle Windrunner, but I feel like this Battle Fury build is getting insanely popular on Juggernaut, and it's just something we didn't see until maybe this patch had gotten a little bit more... I don't know the right word for it. The patch had marinated?
Yeah.
Is that what we call it?
This is old school too. Juggernaut used to build Battle Fury way back before the whole bomb S&Y just run at people patch hit with Sniper, but this is the old school build, and people are going back to it now.
Yeah. And it certainly helps him keep up with a lot of these games, which do rely on a number of heroes who kind of flash bomb. And the smoke has been broken. Can they find anything? There's a Fiend's Grip. The physical damage from the Walrus Punch won't go through the Windrun, so they wait for... Oh, no, wait, it does. I'm dumb. And now we're going to have a power shot coming through. But Windrunner, she's so low at the same time, so far away. A defensive Nightmare, and then a Winter's Curse coming out onto the Tusk. They've killed off the Bane, but there's going to be a Requiem of Souls. Windrunner has escaped, but they should be able to catch one. Maybe not the one that they wanted, though, and really unfortunate that they just couldn't seal the deal. I actually do believe Walrus Punch goes through Windrun, right?
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah.
It can't miss.
Yeah. So even though it's technically kind of like a physical damage attack, it's not counted as one of those. It's like Omni Slash. It goes through. So...
Yeah, and that was really lucky by BraveHeart. Spirit Breaker got some really nice bashes to kill the Bane and make sure that their Wind Ranger stayed alive throughout that fight.
Yep. Now, QD just did something that we don't get to see a whole lot. He just casually popped his ult on the way to top lane. I know he was a bit low, but I'm used to people really holding that for safety.
Oh, I think that's a misclick, or maybe he thought he was getting charged by a Spirit Breaker. There's no reason to do that, really, as it doesn't increase your move speed or health regen.
Yep. Okay, I just wanted to double check that I wasn't missing something there, because it was weird, as you just said. So, we've got the finished up mech coming out of Shadow Fiend, and it looks like, I'm guessing, that Slock is going for... Yeah, I'm guessing that he is bringing out a piece of that Shadow Blade. Yep. So.
They seem to want to group top, I don't know. They might just try to bait the Slurk here, but I believe they're just gonna look for an opportunity to snowball in and just dive.
I'm really surprised they don't bring the Shadow Fiend with him. It feels like he just got the mech. That's an excellent item to show off and use.
Oh, he's TPing up, and this is a great read by BHeart. They're smoking up there right away.
Oh goodness, we've got an engagement. There's going to be the Sun immediately popped and the Fiend's Grip being held, but it's going to end up popping. They managed to kill off the Phoenix Power Shot, doing Focus Fire doing a lot of damage to Bane, manages to get off the defensive Nightmare. Slock has killed one, Slock has killed two. Can he get more? But Juggernaut spinning around on people, does not have the Omni Slash left, but now he is fighting 1v1 against Shadow Fiend, Requiem of Souls. I think he's going to win this engagement with a Shackle. It latches, and a Power Shot finishing him off. Here comes Slock, seeing if he can get the Windrunner. She does not have Windrunner or anything on cooldown, but he has to catch up at first. He doesn't have the ult either. He gets one kill. Can he get another? They're pinging out exactly where the Jug is, but with people respawning, Slock just gonna walk away and actually pops the Shadow Amulet. They have to know exactly where he is. He's out healing the damage from the fireballs. Phoenix doing a good job of chaining them, but I don't think she can Phoenix can actually kill anyone. And that'll be that. That was a really even fight. I didn't quite catch the net worth there just because of how long it was, but nobody really, like, that was pretty even.
Yeah, and Shadow Fiend came in at just the right time to save them all with mech, and that was a really fantastic play by him. If he had been maybe 1 second later, I think Tusk would have died, and they all would have died before being able to get any of their damage off.
Yeah, so while not too much has changed, oh, we've got a Weave coming out. I was going to say, I think a little mistake there from the Phoenix. Oh, Winter's Curse comes out, but they snowball trying to negate the damage, but there's a charge coming as well. They've used the Shadow Dance. Shackle, it manages to latch between the cart. Those things no longer magic immune. This might just be the end of it, though. Tusky gets off an Ice Shot. They should be able to kill this individual, even though you're in that cold embrace. Although they don't seem to have the damage. He's so tanky. Shackle doesn't latch this time, and even if it did, there was a Dog Pact coming. So, happily picking up that kill for DK. Mech doing work, is what I'm gonna say there.
Yeah, it is, and it just shows that the power of a mech this early can do a lot, and they're diving the tower now.
Yo, we've got a Nightmare. We got a Fiend's Grip onto the Phoenix. Want to make sure he doesn't get out. There comes a Shackle that doesn't latch again, and with the Icarus dive away, I think this should be it. But Slock going in knows they don't have a Shackle, and even if they did, oh, the egg is going to be dropped again. He needs to get out of there or he'll burn to death. But now they know they can fight. They might not have taken this, beyond the one kill, they might have taken this engagement, but they can take the next because of the long cooldown that there is on Egg. And they might just be thinking about going in right now. Where's the backup, though, for the Tusk? Ice Shard slightly off the mark. Warus punching up that guy, but he's going to get bashed on the backline. Shackle luckily doesn't shackle the two of them together, but there is a Dazzle here, has a Shallow Grave just in case, and they will get the kill on the Phoenix. This game is not nice for Dog 7. Are they thinking about more? There's no mana on the Shadow Fiend, so I don't really think they can go back in. Mech's on cooldown as well. He does have 1 charges and a bottle.
Yeah, and if you were looking at mid, Juggernaut almost killed Slurk with his ultimate, and I think it was a little bit of a misplay, or maybe even a really fantastic play. The Spirit Breaker's charge that was giving them vision on Slurk got cancelled, I believe, mid-Juggernaut ultimate, and let Slurk live there.
So unfortunately, a bad team fight after the pretty even one. BHeart losing that team fight mightily, and probably about 2,000 gold lost when all things are considered. They're starting to fall a little behind, but none of this isn't a deficit that can be wiped away by one team fight.
Oh, absolutely. And if they just maybe get one good Phoenix ultimate, they use get a good Shackle, and they have a lot of spells that rely on making sure that they use them precisely, and getting any one of those off in this team fight could mean that they get a really nice win for themselves.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about that. Even if the Jug gets really big, the fact that the Jug is going to have trouble bringing this damage to his opponents with things like Shadow Dance or folks being able to be nightmared or just walk away, I'm a little bit worried about them getting in there on the lineup of BHeart. And as you said, it's Shackle, it's Winter's Curse, it's Phoenix's Egg, it's potential bashes. Not a lot of stuff that's for sure.
And Team DK or XDK are now smoking up. They're going to go for behind the tower play.
They have to know.
Giving them vision.
Oh no, they're actually gonna run right into this. Oh goodness, looks like we're gonna be losing our Cowman. But this is a really well-placed egg and a Winter's Curse. I think they're all gonna be stunned up here. Jug is spinning. He does have the Omni Slash, but no mana. He needs a few more seconds of regen. Actually, a long more time. The Requiem of Souls ends up coming out, killing off the Juggernaut, killing off more. And what I thought was gonna be a beautiful team fight from BraveHeart is gone disastrously wrong, and they will be 5-man wiped as my game lags up the wazoo. How about yours?
Oh yeah, I can't. I'm still back at where Tusk snowballed in, so...
We are lagging, folks. I don't believe it's my computer. I believe it is Perfect World servers, but I know that everybody here loves PowerPoint, so please enjoy the slideshow. While we get back into this, I'm going to do some item roundup, because at least that's not laggy. I'm still lagging. Are you still lagging?
Yeah, I can't really...
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Then it's not just me, it's both of us. Looking at the item slot, finishing up that Shadow Blade, I feel like that play just there from DK, you could tell it was a bait, but I guess they didn't expect it from behind the tower.
Well, the team DK had a really nice ward giving them vision of the Spirit Breaker, and they went up to take that fight, and even though BraveHeart got a nice initiation, it just showed that they had all these defensive spells that really won them the fight. They locked down Shadow Fiend for, I believe, 8 seconds, and he got Nightmared.
Yeah.
And then after the Nightmare, he got Graved, and he was still able to get his ultimate off. They had him at 0 HP for a good, and they're going on mid with Slurk.
Oh, I'm still choppy. Are you still choppy?
Yeah, I saw Slurk go on mid, and then Wind Ranger just died.
Okay, I'm gonna actually try giving it a quick restart. I don't know if that'll help.
If it fixes it, you can let me know.
I'll hold down the fort while I'm there. So I believe it's just the server we're on, but...
Okay, no, the server has just crashed for me.
Oh, that's not good. I probably never should...
Okay, no, it's back. It disconnected me for like 7 seconds.
Okay.
Now I'm back.
I'm also double-checking in with the admin that we are all lagging, just because maybe they know the tricks of Chinese Dota. It's entirely possible. Have we missed any kills? Maybe you're back in before I am.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Oh gosh.
I was trying to look for Phoenix, and Tusk is just gonna miss that snowball. So it's unfortunate he didn't get vision for that, but...
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm less laggy, so maybe just a restart will do it.
Well, I think it might just be coincidence, because I'm getting 0 lag now, too.
Okay, maybe it was just nothing. Maybe restarting didn't help, so, as you said...
fixed itself.
Excellent. Well played, server. I wanted to take a look at items. Oh, we can look at CS, folks. I know you all love that. It's looking firmly now in the hands of Team DK. They're about 7.5 thousand gold ahead, maybe even a bit more when this graph calms down, and also that far ahead in experience. Because of this, they've got not quite level 2 ults on some big heroes, but they've certainly got a level advantage, including that their offlaner is doing way better than their opponent's offlaner. This Phoenix, under-leveled, and you just... I mean, this egg, it's so easy to destroy right now.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate. I think his offlane, he's the lowest level in the game, or close to. He's lower level than the Wyvern. And he's still one of the least farmed heroes in the game. He's lower than Spirit Breaker, and he's only ahead of the Wyvern in gold. And it means that his mechanism timing is going to be maybe even 30 minutes looking at it now. He doesn't even have the buckler yet. And this means that they won't be able to take a really consistent fight for another maybe 5-6 minutes, and they need to just sit back, try to farm their jungle, try to get their core items up, and see if they can maybe go for a smoke gank.
Yeah. And also, we've got Shadow Fiend. He already had the Sange in that last team fight. Has the Sange and Yasha. 1,500 health. Effectively about 1,800 when you include the mech heal. I'm not sure they can take him down. We talked about how he was locked down for 8 seconds last team fight, and they couldn't kill him.
Yeah, and not just 1,800 health, you still have Bane to save you, you still have Tusk with a snowball, and of course Dazzle, and now they might try to kill bottom right here.
Yeah, they've got the charge, they've got the Winter's Curse, they actually stack these, and the egg, they should be able to get this guy. Dust comes out, but he's in the ult, and you can't see anyone. The stun, it's going to end up reaching the Dazzle, but once again we can see they just can't seem to seal the deal, and now they're getting worked on. Requiem of Souls, Phoenix, he is dead for sure, and the rest of his team TPing out, leaving the Phoenix there, so... I don't think they should have stunned the Nether, or stacked the Nether Strike with the Winter's Curse. Maybe? It's really rough.
Yeah, it's it's really difficult because if you don't, I think Spirit Breaker didn't know if Winter Wyvern was in range to ultimate, and he wanted to be safe about it. And it still means that unless they perfectly stack stuns, which they almost did that team fight, there's no way to kill the Slurk. Even if they use everything on him. And as you see that fight, they used 4 ultimates on maybe even 5. I think Wind Ranger ulted 2. So they used 5 ultimates and still were unable to get the kill on him.
Yeah. Now, do you think this is just a case of outdraft? I understand that, to me, it looks like DK is definitely outplaying Braveheart a little bit as well. But this Shadow Fiend, out of control. They have no lockdown for the Slok. It felt like that was a great lost pick by the lineup of DK. What do they need to do differently here? Is it just they need to try and get some lockdown items? Is it just next game you draft a bit differently?
I mean, I definitely think DK won the draft, but I never think a draft decides a game. No matter how bad you draft, you can still win a game against any opponent, just if you play really well. And Tusk might be able to get a kill on top here.
Now, there's a lot of backup in the area, but oh goodness, here comes a lot of people, and do they have it? They don't even need the Requiem of Souls. Shadow Fiend is just going to be a pain. The charge onto the backlines, the Tusk manages to stop it, but they got the bash on a few. Where is the damage, and do they have the Omni Slash? Not for 14 more seconds. We've also got a Dust coming out for the Glimmer Capes. At the same time, here comes Slok. He doesn't quite manage to catch onto Lulu with the pounce, but there is the egg. Winter's Curse going to mean that Slok is taking this stun whether he likes it or not. A shackle that doesn't latch either. And the Omni Slash, it should be back up, but there's no mana because Lulu chose to spin. They need some sort of backup. The Wyvern doesn't have Cold Embrace, just hasn't used it. He's going to go down anyway to that Dark Pact, and now on the front lines, Aegis has been expended. But where is the Juggernaut, and where is that Omni Slash? He's not coming back in. They've got the Fiend Script going out, and instead of getting any sort of kill, the lineup of Braveheart just being stopped at every turn. Shallow Grave just in case a power shot comes out for that Tusk.
It's ridiculous how much sustain they have in these fights. Multiple times you had people at 10 HP that were living with Snowball, with Nightmare, with Grave, and it's really showing through with their sustain in these fights.
Yeah. So I have to stress Dazzle and Bane doing a lot of good work, and another team fight not going the way of Braveheart. They don't, while the Aegis was expended, I don't feel like they can take many more bad team fights.
Yeah, and originally I didn't really like DK's lineup, but now that I look at it, it's really good versus Braveheart, as Braveheart's lineup is all about using their ultimates one time and winning the fight during that time period, whereas DK is all about trying to sustain these fights, and they're doing a really good job of it. They're not letting Braveheart do what their draft is supposed to do.
Yeah, if the ults are down, it does feel like Braveheart can't fight, and they also just seem to be having such trouble. Jug, a number of times I've seen him unable to use that Omni Slash, just out of mana for it. You can't fight this way. You know, it's a huge damage output spell. Not having it for a team fight is just not acceptable. And it's not necessarily his fault. Your hero just has bad mana. So.
No, and not only that, is even if he uses it, like, Slarks can still ultimate and it negates it. Tusk can still Snowball summon, you can still Grave, you can still use Nightmare. Like I said, all throughout this game, DK have had the tools needed to make sure that Braveheart can't use these ultimates to effective use.
Yeah.
And that's really showing throughout the game, and especially going into late game, or mid game now. It means that Braveheart need to take really good fights. They need to make sure that instead of trying to target the Slark, as they've been doing all game, maybe you try to go on the Bane, or maybe you try to go on the Tusk, or the Dazzle. You need to make sure that you get the initiation off of one of them, and just kind of ignore Shadow Fiend, Juggernaut, or not Juggernaut, Slurk until maybe the end of the fight.
Now we've got a
smoke by DK.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna latch onto someone. It's just a question of who. They've spotted out the Wyvern. Yim looking for a way out of this. Arctic Bone into the trees, maybe gonna help out. There's an egg as well. They've chosen to fight here. Yim has TP'd out though. The egg is down. They don't have the damage output. Tusk has managed to be killed with that Omni Slash, but maybe not the target you want, and there was no TP out from the Jug. He falls instead. Suddenly, they have a godlike streak on their Slok, and looking like this could be the high ground push. Now, upside, Phoenix was low level, will respawn quickly. Downside, Phoenix doesn't have the egg.
I don't know if Phoenix being a low level is an upside.
I mean, just for the respawn time.
I mean, he can slow the push down with Fire Spirits, and that will be really helpful to making sure that they can't just run at this tower and kill it right away. And one thing to mention is Braveheart do have great anti-push. They have Wyvern, who's one of the best anti-pushers in the game. You have Phoenix, who's great with Fire Spirits, and even past that, you have Wind Ranger, who's great with Shackle Shot for setting up winnable fights.
Yeah. So, really well done there. Looking like DK have all the tools they need to push high ground, but just whether BHeart can stall it out. I think DK's just going to wait for the next Roshan.
Yeah, I don't think they have a need to force anything. There's no point during the next maybe 20 minutes that BHeart gets really stronger than them. As long as they just play it safe, push high ground, maybe even slow siege. If you want, you can put Slark up in the front, and as soon as they initiate on him, you just use your Grave, and then he just ultimates out, and you can redo that every 60 seconds.
And it looks like he's going for a butterfly, so soon won't even have to worry. There's going to be a Walrus Punch up. Can they get out? The Wyvern already dead. Phoenix looking to be going that way as well. Doesn't have the Icarus dive because of the failed one down there, and Slark just gets the better of Phoenix as well. This is a lost tier 2, and just more and more gold lining the pockets of DK. They also don't
I wouldn't be surprised if they just try to go high ground right now.
Yeah, and it looks like, as you said, that is exactly what they're going to be doing there. We've got Y Chen going in, going ham, and we're going to be seeing pretty much no defense coming out. Now, when Phoenix and Wyvern come back up, they will have ults, but in 15 seconds, a good portion of their base is going to be gone. A Walrus Punch in, Ice Shield's off the mark, but there is the Nightmare, this Mistake Corrector. Requiem of Souls coming out entirely on top of the Spirit Breaker. You might get a Shackle, but I don't think you have any sort of damage you can do to annoy them. And with this Ice Sigil zoning completely, what are they going to do?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate since Phoenix and Wyvern were their two really good anti-pushers that they were getting picked off there, but now they can still take a fight at the racks.
Oh gosh, Slark is in their base, Dog is dead using the Fiend's Grip, and now there's gonna be a heal coming out doing a lot of damage. This Omni Slash, it looks like it's tickling people. Finally the Winter's Curse comes up, Power Shot through the middle of it too, but it seems to do nothing. The Snowball into the base, bringing 2 heroes in there, and it's still not enough. They might lose one, they might even lose the Slark, but no such luck. Shallow Grave and the GG call, and that is gonna be the end of game 1, it looks like.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play by DK. Although they did win the draft, I'd like to say that they played really well. Their rotations were on point. Bane and Dazzle and Tusk played exceptionally, keeping their cores alive. And that was just a beautiful Dota performance by them.
Yeah. Really well played by DK. I do think that they did a really good job with that surprise lost pick Slark, understanding that there wasn't nearly enough lockdown for that hero. I think good early game from BHeart, but obviously just kind of falling as the game progressed. Either way, folks, that wraps up game 1. This is just a 2-game series, so we'll be headed into game 2. Right click. Once again, I'm Llama Down Under. I was joined by Noble Wings. You can see his Twitter handle on the screen at Noble Wings with a Z or a Z. And we would love your feedback on how to get better, so please feel free to leave that for us on Twitter at these handles, Llama Down Under and Noble Wings. And with that, let's get you all right into a game 2, folks. Peace out, and we'll be right back.